And we've reached the part of the show where it's the NASCAR part of the show. And we're trying something new this week. We're going to be going live during the NASCAR aspect. Brandon, Boston Boy 83, as he's here every week during the NASCAR season, is here. Him and I are going to start to do some more live stuff. We figured why not start today. Brandon, how you doing today, my man?
Doing good. Happy Friday, everybody. Good to be here.
I mean, well, you had quite a little weekend, buddy, in New York, man. You were living the dream last weekend, buddy.
Yeah, I had a good one. It was a very good time.
All right. Well, we almost pulled off. We almost got, what is it called in bowling? The turkey, 3 in a row. Logano almost came through for us.
Yep.
Now we're going to Las Vegas. I have to say, I'm kind of a fan of this new setup, this new next gen car. What do you think of it?
I do. There's a lot more racing involved. It's not as spread out. There's a lot of back and forth. I still think there's a lot to figure out with the tires, like the randomly blown tires, but I think it's going to take some time. But to your point, the racing's been, we've only had two weeks of it, but the racing's been really good.
It seems like last year, if you were a big company, you had a distinct advantage.
Absolutely.
This year, I don't see them. I see a little bit more of a quote unquote even playing field.
Yeah, it is. A lot of the stuff now, like the chassis and other parts of the car, you have to purchase directly through NASCAR, when before you could either fabricate it yourself or purchase it from a higher branded company. And now all these guys, the cars are more equal. The motors may be still a little different on how they're built, but the cars are way more equal. So the lower funded teams, I mean, you had Almirola, Hemrick, Suarez, Dillon, all those guys in the top 10 last week. Kurt Busch in the 2311 team. So you had a lot of guys that you normally don't see running towards the front running.
And I mean, like you mentioned Suarez. I mean, Suarez, his owners are Pitbull and Floyd, like Money Mayweather. So in my mind, he's got to get a victory this year.
Yeah,
because those guys aren't going to do stuff unless it's a moneymaker.
No, I'm with you. And if Floyd's involved, if Floyd's not winning, he will not be a part of it. We all know that.
So I guess, let's dive into the races. And with that being said, I really want to take Suarez, but I didn't pull the trigger. I don't think this is the race where we can pull the trigger on Suarez.
I don't think it is either at 30-1. We know there's going to be a race, a few of them down the line where they're going to have him sitting at 80-1, 100-1. Those are the times that you're going to want to grab him. But at 30-1, and some of the drivers that we'll go over here in a minute, the odds are definitely even higher than that, and they're definitely better drivers.
Now, you're rocking a Chase Elliott shirt. For those who don't know, for those that are listening to us for the first time on the podcast or watching live, Brandon is a Chase fan.
What gave it away?
What happened? Like, what happened with the Larson Elliott situation for those guys, teammates? What's going on?
So I'll take my Homer fan of Elliott out for just a second and speak to Larson. He said he was looking at his A-post mirror, which for those of you that don't know, it's the mirror that's down in the bottom left looking out the driver's side, because that's where Logano was, and he was trying to side draft. Chase had a full run coming up in the mirror, goes high. Larson said he didn't see him. He said, I was too focused on Logano side draft, and then I tried to break up to get away from him. I believe that aspect of it. But the fact that you're telling me that he almost gets equal car length to you, and you try to say that your spotter said it a little late, when they released the spotter radio and showed the video, the spotter clearly said 9 high, 9 high, 9 high for like the third time, and then he breaks to the right. Now, I know they're going 200 miles an hour, so benefit of a doubt, he didn't see him. He didn't know he was already there. But even if you didn't know he was there and your spotter's saying that there's a car high, he had to be coming. Yeah. Elliott was pissed. I guarantee Hendrick Motorsports, I guarantee they had a meeting on Monday to try and button this up, because if you're Hendricks, it's the last thing you want, because if Chase wants to get payback, you might have 2 wrecked cars and watching money fly out the window. So I'll give Larson the benefit of a doubt, but I'm not a full believer of his statement.
Now, I would love to have been the fly on the wall in that meeting. Absolutely love. Because, I mean, I'm not the biggest Larson fan in the world. I'm so with your boy. Don't love him, don't hate him. Just kind of in the middle. But I completely think Larson was in the wrong. I think that was a pure intentional move. And that kind of brings us to our first bet. We're doing the prop bet. We found plus 110 on an offshore. Elliott over Larson. You mentioned there could be a revenge factor. For those of first-time listeners, we lock in about 5 units in a race. We're going Elliott over Larson. We're risking 1.75 units to win 1.925 U. Like you said, I think Elliott's going to take him out. I just think there's going to be a message sent at some point during the race, and I'll roll it here. Elliott historically has done well here. He's done well at the intermediate track. I think he finishes ahead of Larson.
Yeah, and even if there isn't a true revenge factor, he's not going to give Larson any room at the end of a race. So if Larson is trying to make a move, Chase will close the door, whether it be intentional or not. So I'll roll with you on that 110.
Now, in terms of picking head-to-heads, I know you hate him, and I'm about I think this is the third week I've picked him. He won the Clash for us. He won the Clash for us. So we can't complain. I'm going with Logano at 8-1. I'm betting 1 unit to win 8 at Las Vegas. He has an average finish of 7.5 since 2019. Last race, he kind of struggled a little bit, but he figured it out toward the end, and he was in a position to win the race. I thought he had a great run.
Yeah.
So, Logano, best price we found on the books, 8-1, risking 1 U to win 8.
Yeah, no, I'll roll with it.
What is the first guy you're picking, sir?
First guy I have is Truex. Great equipment, good at these style tracks. 22-1. I can't tell you the last time me or you have seen him at 22-1. I don't know what's going through Vegas, what they know, we don't know, because I always get into that mindset of why. Like, why is he sitting? Why is that talent, that equipment sitting at that number? So I'm definitely going to roll with Truex at 22-1. That's a thick ROI.
I mean, just kind of piggybacking what you said, since 2019, he's got 1 win at Las Vegas. He's got 3 wins at the size intermediate track. I like him here a lot too. He's actually on my card at 22-1 as well. I'm in on him here. The next guy I am rolling with, I'm rolling with Byron. I found Byron at 12-1. You look at last year, 5th best speed last year at this type of track. You looked at during the playoffs, he had a little bit of a hiccup with like a blown tire, a little situation in pit roll. Last year, he had 2nd best average on this style intermediate track. And then last week, stage 3, he was running toward the front and then he crashed out. So he's running well. He's historically done well here. 12-1 is a tough price to beat. We're locking Byron in, risking 1 to win 12 U with Truex. 22-1, we're risking half a U to win 11 U for the one you just gave out. Who's your next guy?
My next guy is going to be Reddick. He dominated last week. He's 14-1. He showed really good signs at the end of last year. This is going to be one of those bets that we're going to truly see how we can rely on him as the season goes. Was last week a fluke? Was last week one of those he ran good, led most of the race, blew a tire, and then you had his teammate Austin Dillon running second. So I want to see what those cars bring this week. And if they are bringing the same type of power they brought last week, I want to lock Reddick in at 14-1. If we do see that slide with that team, then I'll absolutely start fading Reddick and Austin Dillon for a little while until we see some more changes. But I do like Reddick at 14-1.
Okay. All right. Now you mentioned there's 2 other guys you like. I've gone through all my guys. For those first-time listeners, first-time watchers, Brandon's got a history of finding these diamonds in the rough. These guys that are just kind of out there. He's hit a couple long shots last year. You hit Bowman at a big price once. I'm trying to think who else. Of course, I don't remember off the top of my head. Who's your first long shot?
The first long shot is going to be Eric Almirola. Let's be honest, we shit on him all last season. Said he couldn't come through with anything. He had a top 10 last week. And for a man to have a top 10 in Stewart-Haas equipment and his odds be 70-1 going into Las Vegas, I'm not going to steer away from him. Top 10 last week, good equipment, 70-1. That's all I've got to say about it. There's no hidden gem like disguise about this. I see the odds. I like them based off of last week's results. And we're just going to roll the dice in Vegas on that one.
I mean, it's what I always say in every single sport. Play the number, play the situation. This is his last year running, so we're going to see a good effort from him.
Yep.
To try to get, one more win on the circuit before he hangs it up. So yeah, it's 70-1. I definitely like it. He's been running good. It goes back to what we said earlier. This new car, next gen car, it's more of an even playing field. And Almirola is showing he's a good driver and he can definitely hang in. So, with him is 70-1, we are risking half a U to win 35 U. So, yeah. I mean, that's huge ROI. We hit that, we're basically, I mean, I hate to say it, except for the year.
Now, I got a bigger ROI for you.
All right, let's hear it.
Another guy that finished in the top 10 last week. Colleague Racing has shown fast speed the first 2 weeks. You have Daniel Hemrick sitting at 100-1. Again, this isn't, and also for any new time listeners, this isn't one of those things that we're going to go into next week and say, oh, Corey LaJoie got a top 10. We're throwing a unit on him. No, that's a fluke. That doesn't happen. Colleague Racing is showing speed early. They've got a lot to prove being a new team in NASCAR coming up from the Xfinity Series. They've got enough invested in their name to where they're still running Xfinity and Cup now. And seeing them with that style of speed and seeing another man like that at 100-1, I'm locking that in as my final long shot.
I mean, and we're going to risk a quarter of a U to win 25 U. And for those of you who don't know, the only time we ever bet Corey LaJoie, top 20. That's the only time we bet Corey LaJoie. I mean, last year, that was our go-to bet. That was our go-to bet. Corey LaJoie, top 20. It was kind of funny because DraftKings would put that bet out at like 4-1 last year. And for like multiple tracks that historically, like he has done well at, and you and I just kept on hammering it. I mean, you look at that stuff now for these top 20s. I think they stopped offering them DraftKings.
Yeah, because you drain them out.
They're up to top 10s.
This one guy keeps doing top 20s and draining us. We got to cut this out next year.
I mean, who's this asshole keeps on putting like $400 on LaJoie top 20? You, for those who don't know, you are an iRacer. You ran Las Vegas last night. Why don't you tell everyone how you did and what the track was feeling like when you're doing your iRacing?
I'd like to explain what the track felt like, but unfortunately, we had a mishap in qualifying. So started in the back, which I was fine with. I was like, it's a 100-lap race. We'll just ride for a little bit. Had a fast, long-run truck. We had tested all week. To give a shout-out, in the other 2 Las Vegas races last night, the other 2 splits, we had one teammate finish first, one teammate finished fourth, another guy finished 8th. Coming out of turn 4, on the very first lap, running 32nd, again, just relaxing, first lap, car got loose in front of me, or truck, two trucks ahead of me, couldn't see him. There's the big brake, blew the motor, didn't even complete a lap. So it was probably the most frustrating style of race I've ever had to experience in my life. It was week 2 of Road to Pro. It has drastically put us behind the 8 ball. We're still in the top 50 percentile, and you get one drop race. So that will be my drop race. So right now we have a 25th at Daytona, which was horrible, running 3rd on the last lap. And then what happened Friday or yesterday. So a lot of rebound to do. Definitely follow the page, twitch.tv/BostonBoy83. We still run multiple nights, not just Thursday nights, but got a lot of work to do. We can't have any more mistakes. It was just one of those freak acts. I deleted the video because I was so pissed, but Coming out of 4 on the first lap, major checkup. Had no, my spotter couldn't even queue up in time to let me know it was coming, and that was it. That's all she wrote.
I mean, there's not much you can do, man. Tough situation. Just move on. I'm sure. You guys racing next week?
Week after.
Week after. Where's the next one at?
Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta, the ATL, my friend.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to the Boom Boom Room with James Harden down there?
The Boom Boom Room.
The Boom Boom Room with Harden.
Hey, I got to ask you. We haven't talked, and then I know it's off subject.
Yeah.
Are the Celtics making enough run to be a contender?
The Celtics are playing exceptional D. I really think getting Williams back has helped them a lot.
Yep.
Adding Derek White, it has helped the ball movement. It's not sticking him as much. He's I call him a half-second guy. In a half-second, he gets the ball. He is either going to shoot, drive, or pass. It's not sticking as it does with like Smart, Tatum, and Brown. But I really think the one thing that's going to hurt you guys when you get into the playoffs is I don't think you have enough size.
Mm-mm.
You look at a team like Cleveland, they got Allen, Mobley, a team like the Bucks, Portis, Giannis, Lopez is coming back.
Yep.
The Nets, even like the Nets they got Drummond. Drummond looked good in the one game I saw him play against the Bucks, but I just don't think that. Yeah, even someone like Drummond, I just don't feel like size-wise you guys have enough. I think you're better than last year, but size-wise you're lacking.
And if that's the case, that's one of those games where Tatum's going to have to drop 40 and someone's going to have to follow up behind him with 32. And that's not going to happen consistently enough in a 5 or 7 game series. It's not.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the NBA, I didn't have an NBA talk in this episode, but I mean, Jesus, dude. Like, you got Harden and Embiid. You got your Celtics. You got the Bucks.
Yeah.
You got the Nets. You got the Heat. You got the Bulls. East is loaded.
And I will say this, loaded. As a Celtics fan, seeing the East loaded for the last couple years now feels really good because for a long time, everything sat out west.
Yeah.
And you had maybe 1 or 2 hot teams that would even make it to the finals in the East. But the East was shit on for so many years because every team in the West was just rattling off wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to ask.
Yeah. I mean, I like your boys. I think they could beat, because I'm not the biggest Harden and Embiid guys. I think they can beat those guys in the series. I don't think they could beat the Bucks in the series, and I don't think they can beat the Nets in the series.
Okay.
So, but Brandon, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your Friday. Why don't you tell everyone your social media handles and everything you have going on?
Yeah, Boston Boy 83 on Twitch, Boston Boy 83 on Instagram. Please give me a follow. Would love to chat more with you guys. Any questions, reach out to him or myself. If any NASCAR picks that you're looking for, any DraftKings questions, I've told you I'm hoping to get better at it. But I'd like to start releasing a DraftKings lineup on a weekly basis and see if we can start cashing some more tickets.
Yeah, once I think once NBA is over, not NBA. Jesus Christ, I'm way ahead of myself. I'm sorry. College basketball. Once March Madness is over, we'll start maybe doing some stuff on the weekends because it's different than last year. They have qualifying, and that can change stuff a little bit. Yeah. But I will say this: at the Clash, we gave out Suarez. We gave him out 100 to 1. Yeah. He got all the way down to like what, 15, 20 to 1.
Yep.
So it's one of those things when you're betting beforehand. Like if you think someone's going to qualify good or have a good run, like I think Byron will. I want to lock that one in right away.
Make your thought bets now.
Yeah. And
lock them in while they're odds. Because if Eric Almirola qualifies 9th, that 70 to 1 will be 19 to 1 before the race even starts.
That's what's in sync. Bye.
Yeah. Never heard of them.
Come on, buddy. I know you got a Timberlake poster somewhere in there, dude. Yeah, we'll start trying to figure out a schedule with us where we can put out some DraftKings content. But Brandon, why don't you tell again? I'm sorry, went on an instinct tangent. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media?
Boston Boy 83 Instagram and Twitch.
All right, Brandon, thanks for stopping by. And we'll be here every week. We'll go live and then we'll record it. It'll also be on our podcast every single week. Thanks for stopping by. Let's cash some tickets. And I'll talk to you next week, man.
Sounds good. Good luck, everybody.